Our next concept that we're going to talk about is a permutation. A permutation is the number of ways things can be ordered or arranged. Order matters. I want you to think about permutation and places, like in a race, places, permutation, they both start with P's, okay, but order matters. It matters to me if I'm running a race and I get first place versus seventh place. So the way we do permutations is we say it's a permutation of n objects taken r at a time. So we have n things to choose from and we get to choose r of them. Now this is one notation, probably a little more common is this one here, n permutation r. And mathematically there's a definition for it. It's n factorial over n minus r factorial. And I'll show you how that works. There is also a permutation key on your calculator, so we'll do it both ways just so you can see it, because sometimes it is better by hand. So we have 9 players on a baseball team, and how many ways can the first 3 batters be chosen? This is different than our last baseball player question because we had all 9 of them in order. Now we're only taking the first 3. But order matters, okay? How you arrange those first 3 batters matters. So this is a permutation. We have 9 players, and we are going to choose 3 of them to put in our top 3 spots. So if we're going to use the formula up here, that is 9 factorial over 9 minus 3 factorial, which is 6 factorial. Now, I want to just show you something kind of neat that happens here. 9 factorial is 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. 6 factorial is 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. And if you notice, there's a lot in common here. The 6's are going to cancel, and the 5's and the 4's and the 3's and the 2's and the 1's. So this ends up being just 9 times 8 times 7, which if you put that into your calculator, you're going to get 504. Now, I'm going to show you also how to do this on your calculator because you don't actually have to use the formula at all. The nice thing about the formula is if you get really big numbers that overflow your calculator, you may be able to use this canceling trick to still be able to do the problem. I don't think we're going to have any that big. All right, we have 15 students in Mrs. Arthur's class, and 5 are going to be giving a presentation today. How many ways can students be chosen to present? Now, I don't know about you, but order matters to me because I don't really want to be the first one to present. You probably don't either, so order definitely matters. This is another permutation. So we have 15 people to pick from, and we want 5 of them to go. So going to your calculator, you have to put the 15 in first, and then you're going to go to that probability key that I showed you before. So put 15 in and then go to the probability button, and you'll have to use the right arrow to get over to the permutation key, and you'll click on that, and then you put in the number 5. So when you do that, it already knows the formula. It's going to do this all in its wonderful calculator brain, and you get 360,360. All right, we have 6 runners in the 1,600 meter run. How many ways can they place first, second, and third? I don't know if you've ever been to a track meet, but you only get points for the first 3 spots if it's a dual meet. So order definitely matters. You get more points if you're first as opposed to third. So this is a permutation. We have 6 runners, and 3 of them count as far as point totals. So in your calculator, you can go 6, hit the probability button, go find permutation, and then the number 3. And it is 120. Now, something that's similar but different is a combination. A combination is the number of ways that you can pick things where order does not matter. You're just choosing things, but it doesn't matter what order you get them, okay? So notation's very similar. You have this n, choose r. The formula is n factorial over r factorial times n minus r factorial. So it's very similar to the permutation formula, except it's got this extra r factorial in it. And I'll show you how to use the formula, and then there's a key on your calculator as well. So 17 boys tried out for the basketball team. How many different ways can a team of 12 be chosen? Well, we have 17 boys, so that's how many we have to pick from, and we are taking 12. Now, it does not matter what order we put them on the team. Like, they just want to be on the team. They just want to be picked. So this is a combination, not a permutation. So if you were using the formula, this would be 17 factorial over r factorial. That's 12 factorial. And then 17 minus 12, which would be 5 factorial. You could put this into your calculator too if you wanted. You just have to put parentheses around this. You could write it all out and do the cancellation thing. So however you want to get that into your calculator. This is a really big number. I guess this one's not too big. I was looking at the next one. Sorry. 6,188. All right, this is the one that has a really big number. Miss America pageant, which we all love. There are 10 finalists chosen from 53 candidates. It's 53 because there's 50 states and Washington, D.C. gets one, and I don't know, the U.S. Virgin Islands. I don't know who else gets one. Anyway, there's 53 of them. Now, they do kind of some preliminary stuff, and so I don't know if you ever watched this on TV. Like, they all come out and they say, based on our preliminary judging and whatever, here's your top 10. And they just choose the top 10. So order doesn't matter at this point, because then those top 10, they go on to continue to compete, and then they put them in order of like first runner-up and second runner-up and all that. So anyway, so we have 53, and we are choosing 10 of them. Order doesn't matter. You just want to be on the top 10 so that you can keep going in the contest. And this one I highly recommend you put in your calculator. I think my calculator even spit it out in scientific notation, but it's like 19,499,099,620. So that is a lot of different ways to choose those lovely ladies. In the next video, we're going to talk about kind of the difference, like making sure we can recognize if it's a permutation or a combination.